Hello, third video here debunking myths about Final Fantasy VIII. Spoony's next complaint comes in the form of complaining about the ice bolts that hit Squall, calling them plot convenience because he can't reflect them with his reflect spell. Well, that's a limit break anyway, so you wouldn't be able to reflect that, and really calling it plot convenience, there's no reason why it's plot convenience, it's just the plot. Edia does that. He then says flashbacks don't contribute to the story, and well, yes they do, massively. They show Squall about Laguna and Essa and Elone, who are pivotal to saving the world. He complains in the second CD, first flashback, that jarring man with a machine gun with the gentle music of Windhill is a bad thing, but I don't. This is why these are bad criticisms, because the music is has the Victory soundtrack in between it, so it never jars. Nobuo Uematsu is one of the best composers alive, so criticizing him, you're gonna have a bad time. He then says Julia forgot about Laguna. Well, that's just not the case. She wrote Eyes on Me about their non-romance and the time they spent together. And it felt like destiny had been cheated with their romance not working out when he got called away to fight. And that's what Eyes on Me is about. He says Rhaenyra being Julia and General Caraway's daughter has no significance to the plot. It has absolutely every significance to the plot. It's part of the love story of the game. The game pivots around this hugely. It's a hugely significant piece of plot because that's the linking part of Rain and Laguna's son, Squall, getting together with General Caraway and Julia's daughter, Rhaenyra. It's that romance between Julia and Laguna that never happened comes together again with their children, and that is the central theme. So it has every significance. He then complains about an anti-magic field, and he goes on with this whole, I guess, funny Dr. Insano thing. I skipped through them, I must admit, when I watched his videos, because I just couldn't stand his voice, especially since he sounded like he was trying to put a British accent on. Well, there is no magic field. Quistis just asks if there is one, and I mean there obviously isn't, because they end up casting spells. That's a pretty simple deductive process you have to go through there to understand that. A drill-shaped prison. I've had quite a few people complaining about this, actually. The design is quite simple. You make it drill upwards when people are trying to escape from the top, and you make it drill downwards when they're trying to escape from the bottom. Pretty good idea, right? The trucks in the prison. Why are there random trucks in the prison when Irvine's getting them to escape? Well, Irvine brought them there. He was sent by the general of the Galbadian army. You thought he might have a few things like that, including the key card to the what Spoony calls nuclear missile silo. There's no mention of this being a nuclear missile silo. It's just another case of him over-exaggerating things. It's just a missile silo. And when they ask about the card key, it's a bit of a joke from the game. It kind of teases you with another mission and takes it away at the last second. He then criticises Norg, spends a long time criticising Norg by throwing ad hominems out there. Who wouldn't trust Norg, he says, sarcastically. In this fantasy world, the Shumis aren't a suspicious bunch of people, apparently. Again, you're forcing, like, as if I was to see a Shumi in the next room, asking if he wanted to be my financial partner. No, this is a fantasy world, and the Shumis aren't a suspicious kind of people. How can the garden fly? Is his next complaint. Well, that's because the garden can fly. Again, pretty simple. It used to be a bunker, or a mobile bunker or something. Sid explains it. Then here comes the big complaint about Alone sending them back in time. Well, the key thing is, Squall is Laguna's son. She wants him to learn about the past. She probably doesn't think he's forgotten about Laguna. She probably even told him about it. She doesn't know he's ever equipped GFs. What she says in the training complex suggests that she hasn't forgotten. That she thinks Squall knows. She calls him by his name, and he calls Quistis by the name that Edia calls her back in the orphanage in that flashback when Irvine's telling you about it. And why is she sending them back in time when they can't change time, when they might not even want to change time? Well, that's she doesn't really understand her power herself. She says she was trying things, and it would seem mean to do that to someone who doesn't even know what the hell is going on. But she probably thinks Squall does know what's going on, because they grew up together, but Squall's forgotten everything. That's the dilemma of the game. He then says Ultimisia has no reason to compress time. Well, yes she does. She wants to become God, and to avoid the seed who is going to kill her. This whole concept of the legendary seed killing Ultimisia is what fuels this game. In fact, when you get to Ultimisia, she already knows that she's going to die through time paradoxes. Why doesn't Irvine mention Edia? Is his next complaint. This is because they're constantly on a mission, and frankly he's finding it weird that they're not mentioning it. If you put yourself in his position, you haven't seen any of these people since you were kids. They're not mentioning anything to do with you. They just seem really, really professional. You're putting the moves on Selfie, who you used to follow around, and she's completely ignoring you like you're a weirdo. Maybe you wouldn't mention it for a while either. After he's busted them out of the prison, he eventually does tell them, so it's not that long. Killing things in one hit with Squall's limit break that early in the game. Well, you can't get your hands on the limit break without the weapons magazine, unless you're really, really lucky. And obviously Spoony's used a cheat here, looked at a strategy guide, got the items without the book, which you can do, and you can get the weapon like that. But if you're going to cheat, the game's going to be easy. It's like, I don't know, Grand Theft Auto using the invincibility cheat or whatever. Then there's the big Deus Ex Machina, where Squall and Rhinoa happen across a spaceship. Well, again, he says it's not Deus Ex Machina. There's one thing to be Deus Ex Machina, but this isn't. This is too convenient. Well, no, that's exactly what Deus Ex Machina is. It's a valid literary technique, just like suspension of disbelief. And if you're playing through this game, you'll notice that the game kind of changes here, as if it sort of ends when they float off into space, and you are led to sort of encapsulate that dramatic moment. And the Deus Ex Machina is almost a fresh start of the game. Like, it's completely unbelievable, and sort of gives the game a rebirth in its effect. The skill of the game is making you not worry about the fact that it's happened, because of the overwhelming dramatic part before it. And I think Final Fantasy VIII does that extremely well. It certainly did it for me. But subconsciously you're led to start over anew with that part of the game. I think it's done really, really well. So I'll come back to you with a fourth part soon, and I'll try and get through the rest of the complaints.